Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I have been meaning to film this and things have just not went my way. We've had stuff going on. There's a hurricane coming in. Thankfully we are on the good side of it. So I think it's Hurricane Helene that's coming up through like Florida, Georgia area. Thankfully we're on the east side of it, so we're gonna get like a lot of rain, wind, all of that. But if you are in the path of this hurricane, my prayers go out to you. I hope you stay safe, hope your animals stay safe, hope your home stays safe. Just sending all the good vibes and prayers your way. I feel like the last time I did a video, my last vlog, we were getting a hurricane and now we're getting another one. Like, it's just that time of the year. But if you are in the path of this storm that's coming in, my prayers do go out to you. I hope you stay safe. I was trying to figure out what I wanted this vlog to be about. My last vlog, I announced that I am now a published romance author, and I've had a lot of people ask me questions since then, which I've had a lot of people ask me questions prior to then because of, you know, supporting me and seeing me on social media and reading my books and all that. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Jessica Whaley. I am a published romance author. I have 2 books out right now and one more that's about to come out later this year, and then I'm also debuting my dark romance, which will be available early in 2025. I'll link my socials and all of my books below if you're interested in checking them out. All my books are on Kindle Unlimited and on Amazon. So I was trying my hardest to try to figure out what I wanted to talk about today on this vlog, because I really didn't have much going on. I'm taking this week off, well, off kinda. I'm still doing content and things like that. I'm just not technically writing because my 3rd book has went to my editor, so I had a little bit of like a week to a week and a half of just chill time because I knew come October the 1st I was gonna start on my dark romance. So my plan is to start my dark romance on October 1st through December, and I plan to vlog that, so don't worry, there will be a vlog coming of that. But I was just like thinking, what can I talk about? And I was like, you know what, let's reflect on this past year and things I wish I would have known prior to releasing my first book. I'm going to try to keep this video short and sweet. Don't know how long it'll end up, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. The Maple series, the Maple Small Town Romance series is the first book that I wrote and the first series that I've ever had out. Letters to Magnolia was my debut novel. This book, y'all, means so much to me, and while it's not perfect and there is flaws in it, it means a lot to me. This book was my baby. I remember sitting at my kitchen bar writing this for hours and crying with my characters and getting so irritable because of things that I was trying to heal from, that this book allowed me to heal with. And then when I finished it, I jumped into the 2nd book, which is The Light in His Darkness. And this book, I got more vulnerable in it. And I just noticed my growth from this book to this book. And it's incredible to see what writing has done for me mentally, what it's done for me physically. The healing journey that writing has brought me has been something that I can't put into words. I don't know how to put into words. It's been nothing short of amazing, for sure. How I came up with Letters to Magnolia was honestly such I don't know how to explain it, such a God thing. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do in life anymore. You know, I got most likely to succeed in high school. I was going to college to be a nurse, and when that didn't work out, I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. Like, I knew I didn't want to do that. And then I went and I was going to be a vet tech. I actually worked at a vet's office for a little while, and I can remember thinking, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to put that strain on my body because I do have rods in my back from scoliosis and all this stuff. And I can remember thinking, you know, I don't know what I want to do. And I knew I wanted to work for myself. Like, I knew that's where I wanted to go. My stepdad's an entrepreneur, and I saw what he was able to do with that, and I was like, you know, that's what I want. I don't want to build somebody else's dream. I want to build mine. When I was in college for a couple years, my English teacher, my English lit teacher, I cannot remember her name. She was young. I do remember that she was young. She was freshly out of her degree to be able to teach. And I remember when I would write novels for her, not novels, when I would write essays for her, I remember when she would give my papers back, she was like, Jessica, have you ever thought about doing this for a career? You were very gifted in the way you write. And I was thinking, no, that's not on my radar. Like, you can't, no, I'm not, being a writer, like, who does that? Who does that? Stephen King, Lucy Score, like all these authors that I fill my Kindle with. How stupid was I? Like, seriously, I want to be like, girl, you have wasted so many years when your career was literally right in front of you. But that was because if I had done it back then, I wouldn't have made it, because I needed to grow through those years to get to where I am today. And I see that now, but looking back on it, I'm like, girl, she literally handed you the puzzle piece you needed. She was giving you she was telling you you were good at something, and you were like, nah, I'm gonna take the hard route. Story of my life. For these novels, I did pants write them. And what that means is you're either a pantser or you're an outliner. I'm a little bit of both. So when I do my dark romance, when I do that vlog, you will see me outline it, just because it's going to be a bigger book. It's going to be a thicker book. It's going to be a more meaningful book as far as the topics. So I have to outline that, or I'm going to be all jumbled everywhere. But these books, I pantsed them mostly. I sat down at my computer and I just went to writing. And this book flew out of me in a month. In a month, I was able, for my first rough draft of it, it came out of me in a month. And I remember when I wrote the last chapter, or the last epilogue, and it was done, like that draft was done, I remember thinking, the hard part's over. I've just finished something that people normally don't finish. Like, I just did something incredible. So, you know, writing this book was so much fun. I learned so much. I remember I binged YouTube. YouTube was my best friend. I binged so many videos because I knew I wanted to self-publish. I knew I did not want to go into traditional publishing. And that's not saying it's off the table forever. That is saying that as of right now, self-publishing is what I want to do. And it's just because I'm a control freak. And I am scared of getting my vision taken from me. So self-publishing is what I went with this, and I'm so glad I did. I failed, but I failed forward. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in writing a book, you have to fail forward. This book has a bunch of things in it that I wish I could go back and change, and maybe one day I will. But it was my stepping stone. When I sent Letters to Magnolia off to my editor is when I started on The Light in His Darkness. And this book flew out of me just as much as Letters to Magnolia did. I grew up in this lifestyle, so I think that's why it was easier for me to write about, is because I grew up in it. I rode horses, I barrel raced, I had farm animals. Like, there's real life aspects of my life in these books, and I think that's why I was able to pants it. Whereas my dark romance, I will have to outline that, and it will take me longer to write. So this is the first book, Letters to Magnolia. This is the second book, The Light in His Darkness. The way I wrote these books, you don't necessarily have to read them in order, but I recommend it because this one picks up right after this one's epilogue. Like I said, you don't have to read them in order, but I do recommend it. They are a standalone series. The third book does come out in 2025, and there is 4 books in the series. I don't know when the 4th book will come out. I'm hoping, if not 2025, early 2026, because I do want to focus the next the rest of this year on my dark romance, but it will be, the third book will be Colin's story. I am keeping I do know who the fourth book is of the series, but I'm keeping that to myself because I do think that it's going to shock a lot of people when I announce who the fourth book is about. I am overwhelmed with the support I have gotten for the Maple series. Everybody has seemed to love it. Like I said, I know there is flaws in them, but I take that as me learning, and I hope that each book I get better at and I learn more, and I take what I learn and I make each book better along the way. My third book that's coming out later this year, which is my Christmas rom-com, it is a different writing style than these two, and I'm excited to see what people think about my comedy, because it is a rom-com and there's a bunch of banter and tension and funny comedy aspects to it. Got me a little Dunkin' earlier. Y'all know, if you follow me on Instagram, you know Dunkin' should probably sponsor me because of how much money I give them. I probably pay their bills with as much as I go by there. Let's talk about some hard truths that I had to learn when releasing my first book, but I wish I knew prior to releasing my first book. Now I feel like I'm a little more, not seasoned because I'm not even a year into it yet, but I'm a little more aware of what it takes to make it, and why I think things I did in the past, like the business ventures I did in the past, didn't work out. And I think the number one thing is this is a God thing. I truly believe it is, because publishing a book this year was not on my radar. Y'all, it was not on my radar, okay? If you watched my prior videos, I had planned to, or myself, I don't know if I've talked about it on YouTube. I do know that in my Instagram stories, I have talked about that. My goal this year, I was opening a boudoir studio because of my photography business. I was opening a boudoir, is that how you say it? Studio for my photography business. It is almost October 2024, and I am fixing to publish my third romance novel. If that's not a God thing, then I don't know what is. It's like, you know that meme where it's the kid on the roller coaster and he's just holding on for dear life? That's how I feel, because when this year hit and I got done with that book, God was like, you're ready. And I've been holding on for dear life ever since. I'm so thankful, and I've told him that over and over again. I'm so thankful. But it has been a whirlwind of emotions and things going on the last month or the last couple months, and I can't say anything other than it's a God thing, because this was not on my radar. I do think that things that I went through in my past were tests leading me up to this point in my life, and I'm fixing to go into why. Because I don't think I would have kept going with the second book or my third book or my dark romance if I didn't have the strength that my trials in my past have brought me through to be able to keep going. And let's talk about why. One of the things I really learned releasing my first book is those really close to you in your circle. How do I put this? Strangers support me more than my close circle. That was really disappointing when I released Letters to before I released Letters to Magnolia, and I was talking about it and marketing about it. Everybody was so excited. Everybody in my close circle was so excited. Couldn't wait for it. Was always like talking about it, and then I released it. And it was almost like maybe they didn't believe I would get to that point, because ventures that I have done in my past have not made it that far, had not made it to the getting it done part. And I think once that happened and the book made it to that point and it was out into the world and it was worldwide known, and people were raving about it, and Goodreads reviews were really good about it, I think is when people backed off. My close circle backed off from me. And that was a really hard lesson to learn, is that those closest to you don't want you to win. It's strangers that will be your biggest supporters. I have met so many amazing women on Instagram and TikTok who, without me having to ask them, without me having to ask, said things about me, posted about me, tagged me in things, have bought my book. Out of the goodness of their heart, have read it and put a review up for me without me having to ask. Do you know how many tears I have squalled over that? Like when I had people on the internet that I haven't met face to face, they haven't seen me at my worst. They don't know my deepest, darkest secrets like the people do who are supposed to be in my corner, my close corner. When they went out and bought this and reviewed it for me without me having to ask, when I had literal people that I would ask to just share a post for me and I got ignored, like, that's when everything got put into perspective for me. That's when I realized that that's when I realized the saying that it is lonely at the top came into full circle for me. Where for years down the road, I think business ventures did not work out because I was not putting me first. I was pleasing other people. I was putting them before myself, and I was allowing them to run all over me. When I knew deep down inside that when they needed me, they knew I would come running. But if I needed them, they wouldn't do the same for me. And while I knew that deep down subconsciously, like I knew that, I just didn't want to admit that. But when I released the book that I had poured my heart and soul into and really worked hard for, the book that pulled me out of a depression, and I saw the lack of support from those close to me because of it, I wish I had prepared myself more for that, because it really put things into perspective for me. All of that to say, if you want to do something big in life, if you want to go after your dreams, do it. Do it. Do it. I don't want to hear the excuse. I want you to go do it. Because you matter. Your dreams matter. And you can do whatever you set your mind to. You don't need other people's opinions to get there. People have opinions about everything. 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 Might as well give them something to talk about. That's my motto anyways. I've learned a lot the past couple months. The past almost 10 months. Because I really started working on Letters to Magnolia in January of this year. I got the idea for it December 2023. But then I really actually started working on it in January. It released in May. And I really just think I've learned a lot. If Jessica from 2 years ago could see me now, no, I take that back. I want to hug myself from 2 years ago. I want to hug her, because that girl, she did not know where her future was going. She was full of anxiety. She was depressed. She didn't want to get out of bed. She felt like a failure. She felt like people were judging her, looking down on her. She wasn't really happy. She just felt sad. Felt like she was losing people close to her. She felt like she was losing friends. She felt like she was misunderstood. And I want to go hug her right now, because I want to tell her that, baby, this is just a trial. This is just a test. This is just you going through those obstacles so you can come out on the other side stronger. Because to get on that other side, you got to be strong. You got to be tough as nails, because it's lonely at the top. God heard conversations that you didn't. He just had to make you tough. And if you're listening to this right now and you feel the same way, take it as somebody who's been on that side, who has come out on that side. I made a promise to myself that I would never feel like that again, no matter what it took. And I look at these books every time I think about that girl 2 to 3 years ago, because it lasted a while. Let me tell you, it lasted a while. I was in a very bad place. And I look at these books and it makes me tear up. Because I didn't want to live life. I felt alone. And I don't like crying on camera. But I felt alone. I felt misunderstood. And there's spice in these books. I know I'm very misunderstood now. I know I get judged now because there's spice in these books. There's words in these books. But y'all, I'm happy. I get out of bed. These books have pulled me out of a place that I didn't know if I'd ever get out of. And I don't want to like get my hopes up or anything. So like, knock on wood, okay? Knock on wood. Is that wood? I don't know. What's wood? Okay. I really think that this past couple years were leading me to this. I wish that Maple was a real place. The town of Maple that's in these books, y'all, I would so totally go visit. I mean, I know I created the place, but I would so totally go visit because this is straight up my kind of place. All the ranches and horses and cowboys and cowgirls and all the things they do there, like straight up my alley. I just want to thank you guys for being here. If you watched this video, thank you. All of my socials are down below if you want to go follow me. I do a lot of behind the scenes on my TikTok and Instagram. Some things I cross post, some things I don't, so you know, it is what it is. I have to do what's best for me and my mental health, and sometimes just cross posting as far as reels and things, it's where it's at. I am just getting started. The amount of book ideas I have is insane. Like I said, my dark romance comes out next year. I do plan my next vlog, actually, I don't know if it'll be the next one, but I know I'm vlogging it next, will be me outlining my dark romance, a day in my life as an author, that day, getting everything situated for my dark romance, because starting in October, your girl's gonna lose her sanity, because we're doing a minimum of 90K words for this book. Minimum. Y'all, these books were 55K. So, pray for my sanity. I hope this video finds you well. I hope somehow my rambling resonated with you. Maybe you're in the same state of life right now. Maybe you don't know where your life is headed. Maybe you have dreams of your own that you're afraid to chase, and I'm just here to tell you, when it's time for those dreams to happen, they're going to happen. You just gotta put in the work. You know, they're not just gonna just happen. The work does have to go into it, because Lord knows I work my butt off. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing, y'all, to watch that work. And even if it's just one, even if you're crawling, you know what? Even if you're crawling, you're still going to that next base and dodging those curveballs. And if you read Letters to Magnolia, you know where that phrase comes from, and that's a phrase that I wish I could tell younger me, is even if you are crawling to that next base, keep moving, because you're getting there. I don't care how slow it is, you are getting there. I'm gonna stop rambling. I love y'all so much. Like I said, all my stuff is down in the description, and I will see y'all in the next vlog. Bye.